Oh, thank you. And Pam, let's move to Pam. So I was blessed to meet Pam in San Antonio too, and she is just a little ball of fire, this one. And I would just love to know, Pam, for you, what was going on in your life before X39? Who shared it with you? And what's happening now? And maybe somewhere in there, how long have you actually been on the technology?
So in 2016, I had a sinus surgery. It was supposed to be a routine sinus surgery, no big deal. I came home and an hour later, I was bleeding out and they rushed me back into surgery. My doctor packed my face. He packed it so much because he had not packed it the first surgery that morning. He packed it so much that instead of packing staying in my face for 2 weeks, it stayed in for 2 months. From that, I ended up with infections and trigeminal nerve pain. But after all of that happened, I had no break in it. So August 31st of 2016 began my first migraine. My first facial migraine. It lasted. I had 3 sinus surgeries. I ended up with a brain surgery, but that was only after 31 doctors later that I had done every type of procedure that they could think to do for me. They did it. Everything from Botox, where she hit me too low and it made my face look like I had a stroke for 4 months and couldn't hold water in my mouth, to the fact that, I ended up with a brain surgery because no one else knew what to do with me. So for 2,400 days, I was the best faker smiler in the world. If you saw me with a big smile, that's because I was hiding the fact that I had a black eye and my face was swollen because of Sluder's neuralgia. That is the condition that I was left with. Sluder's neuralgia has no cure. All they can do for you is hope that you don't kill yourself, because it is called the suicide injury. And they offer you to do alcohol ablation, which kills all the nerves in your face, but they can't tell you that it'll take the pain away. So you won't feel your face, but you also don't know that you're having water or food fall out of your mouth. But you can still keep the pain and the migraines. And I had them for 2,400 days. And I was in a 7-day cycle of migraines on my bed, blanket over my head, no stimulation. And my friend Brian Penrod said, "Can I send you something?" My answer was yes. I mean, anything, send a prayer, send a miracle. And he did. He asked if he could send me something. And when the envelope arrived, it said, "Just try this. Drink water, apply here." I don't know what happened.
Oh, it's okay. I muted. You're good.
Oh, okay. He said, "Just try this." And I did. I put Ice Wave right on the base of my head, on either side of my spine. And I put an X39 in the triangle pattern right on the bone, just like he told me to do. In 5 minutes, my 2,400 day migraine was over. And in 10 minutes,
I'm sorry. So wait, excuse me. You did an X39, which is the stem cell patch, Ice Wave, that takes care of pain. And you said in 5 minutes?
In 5 minutes, 2,400 days ended.
Of migraine. So you had migraine 2,400 days, and in 5 minutes it ended.
Yes.
I just can't believe that.
Yes. So all of the injury is still there. The condition is still here. Everything that's always triggered it, heat, humidity, wind, all still here. The thing that's different is I have my life back and I don't have migraines. I have not had a go to bed migraine since February because of Ice Wave and X39. So did I start patching? Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a miracle that anyone with Sluder's neuralgia can look for that there is hope. You don't have to consider jumping off of a building, because you can live through it, and you can get relief, and it lasts. It's a real thing. But that's not the biggest miracle that's happened with us. The biggest miracle is we have a daughter that is 42 years old. She was born perfectly normal, everything healthy. At 6 weeks old, she had E. coli meningitis that wiped out her nervous system. From that, our Katie has been locked in a wheelchair with a body that does not work, but a mind that does. She is non-ambulatory. She has use of her right hand, but her left arm is completely involved, and her hand is locked like this. On the Saturday, on March 1st, I put an X39 patch on Katie's trap. Didn't say anything to my husband, just put it on. And at the end of that day, he said, I don't know what is going on with Katie, but she's really relaxed and she's extremely happy. I thought, well, that's good. Good news. So the next day, I did the same thing, and I put an X39 on her spine. And our day continued, and at noon, after she finished her lunch, we laid her down like we always do. And about 30 minutes later, she started laughing, and we could hear laughter in the room, and it was laughter like someone was in there telling her a joke. Well, what had happened is we opened the door, and our Katie, who's been locked in this position for 42 years, her left arm was completely extended out, and it was up above her head by herself. And she was just looking at it and laughing because she had an arm that she's never had access to in 42 years. And on day 2 of the patch, she had that freedom. And she has been using her arm ever since. She does anything she wants with it now. And now, not only does she have 2 arms that move, her hand that's been in clonus stuck position is now almost level. And her fingers and thumb, I can slide my hand through it. And she can hold my hand now for the first time instead of me holding hers. But she can also bed dance now because both of her legs are free to move again.
One more time, she can what now? She can
move both of her legs now freely.
Freely move both of her legs.
She can kick them up and down. She can move them. She can bend them. She can pull it up. She can put it down. She can
both arms and both legs are moving now.
Yes, at her own will. So we had an instant miracle, but it took 42 years to come. We had an instant miracle for me, but it took 6 years to come. So if the patches can do that for me and for my Katie, there is nothing they can't do.
Wow, Pam, what a story. Thank you for sharing. You're going to help so many people that really, the pain for you has been so terrible for so long, like literally wanting to jump off a building. There's other people listening that know people that feel like that, and just share Pam's story. Also, your daughter being able to move her, being locked for 42 years in one position, and she moves it and starts laughing because she's laughing at the joy of that.
I found out why though.
Why?
I have another friend that her daughter can speak, and she has cerebral palsy, same thing with the arm. And I gifted her, you gifted her actually, some X39 patches, and she put it on her arm and started giggling. So her mom said, why are you laughing and giggling? She said, I can feel my arm and something's tickling me, and I can feel my fingers. So I understand why my Katie was laughing. She could feel it.
Wow.
She could feel it. Don't ever give up. The brain of David Schmidt has given us our lives back, but with so much more. We had always set every one of our expectations by our limitations, and we don't live that way anymore. Now our expectations are everything. I believe Katie will talk. I'm believing that, and I know it's going to happen because her brain is getting better.
Wow, Pam, thank you. Oh, I was going to ask, what patches do you wear for yourself now, and what do you put on Katie?
Katie gets an X39 if she's in a crabby mood, which has not happened very often, but I will put an Eon behind her right ear, and that takes every ounce of tension from her. She's had her hip stuck once where her leg was jammed in an upright position and her hip was locked, and I took an ice wave, put it right on her spine, and by the time I finished blow drying her hair, she was laughing again. Instead of days of crying and being very gentle with her, it was over before I blow dried her hair. The ice wave took care of all of her hip pain because her leg was going to come out of socket, but it didn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So for me, I ice wave if I still need it, which I'm not needing it every day anymore. Today I have on glutathione, liquid gold, carnosine, X39, and SB6 because I'm getting away. The visceral fat is leaving my building.
I love that. Wow, Pam. Well, thank you so much for sharing. We really appreciate your story of repair and really new life, new expectations. Anything can happen now. Thank you.
So sending a gift of mercy to someone that's sick, X39 is that gift of mercy.
Love that. Thank you for that. Leah, let's come to you. Let's find out why Pam and Kathy are having the kinds of testimonial stories today. What are we talking about?
Marcy, oh my gosh, I tell you, girl, this is why we do what we do. When we hear these stories that had me in tears, and I know you were teared up as well. You guys, what we're talking about, it's a little patch that is about the size of a Band-Aid, about the size of a quarter. And in the white part that you see is, it looks like a piece of fabric, but what is embedded in that piece of fabric is a solution of organic amino acids, salts, sugar crystals, and oxygen. And what it does is that it forms a crystal lattice structure that becomes reflective. And when you put it on your skin, what happens is our body heat, we all know that we're 98.6, or we should be. That heat, or we like to call it our low-level infrared light, because we know if we were to go outside at night, we could not see humans or see any animals unless we had on night vision goggles. Then we would see all those great colors. That's our body's low-level infrared light. And what happens is it reflects a signal off this patch back into our body, and it signals a peptide. It's called GHKCU. It's a copper peptide that our body makes and produces, and we lose its activity as we age. And one of the most important benefits in our world of what this copper peptide does is it signals our body to turn on, you guys, your dormant stem cells. Now, you're probably wondering, why are stem cells important? Well, stem cells are important because they are the only cell in our body that can morph into any cell, any tissue, any organ that needs repairing. And you guys, we're born with millions of them. And as we age, we lose that stem cell activity. And what causes that? A lot of things. Our diet, what we put in our body, stress, of course, any injuries. You know, our bodies are filled with inflammation. And over the course of the first 35 years of your life, you guys, we've lost over 50% of our stem cell activity, meaning those cells are no longer working to heal and repair our body. And then when we hit age 60, 65, which I know a lot of us on here are either there or pushing it, You guys, there's only about 8 to 10% of our stem cells still in our body, in our blood, present, trying to heal and repair. And so what David Schmidt has done is, I know a lot of people had mentioned his name in the chat. David Schmidt is our owner and inventor, and he has figured out a way over the course of over 20 years, you guys, in a photolight therapy is what we call it, or photobiomodulation. It is light interacting with light. You know, and I tell people sometimes that when we are out in the sun and if the sun hits our skin, what does it trigger our body to do? It triggers our body to make vitamin D. That's a known fact. That's why we want to get outside and get some sun. The same principle applies with this patch. The only difference is our body is the light source. This is the reflector. And now we're giving our body the tool to turn our stem cells back on. You know, we get a question a lot, Marcy, how long is it going to take for me to feel something? Pam had some pretty amazing results, right? Our bodies know where to send those stem cells to repair. Yes, we want our migraines to go away, or we want our shoulder pain to go away, but your body might say, you know what, Leah, we've got some issues down in the liver. We're going to go take care of that first. We'll get to the pain. And I tell people all the time, Marcy, that we know this works. It's scientifically, clinically proven, you guys. We've got over 80 clinical studies that you have access to. I want to say, ask me all the time, why haven't I heard of this? Well, this technology, this company, you guys, it's a 19-year-old company. And over the course of 19 years, you hear a lot of the different patches that they've talked about in here. And, you know, David invented what we now refer to as our support patches, right? But 10 years it took for the research to get that proprietary blend of organic amino acids, salts, and those sugar crystals just right to reflect the exact light wavelength to turn on our stem cells. And we're going to talk a little bit more after this testimonial call. We'll dig a little bit more into the company and the history of the company. You know, I always like to point out too, Marcy, this company is here today because of the Navy SEALs, you guys. This was David's first patch. They came to him and said, we need something. They knew he had done the light therapy stuff all of his career. We need something to keep these guys awake on long missions without putting anything into the body. They were just killing the inside with caffeine, amphetamines, all the things that were just destroying the body. And then David's patch came out. And you guys, this patch is still used by professional athletes around the world. We'll go a little bit more, but you know, get back with the person that invited you here.